Hi there, Celine Galgage here, clinical psychologist from Melbourne Wellbeing Group. Welcome to day 2 of our 90-day vlog challenge. It seems like a mammoth task and it's only day 2, but I'm sure we'll get there as a team quicker than we know it. Today I'm going to be speaking to you a little bit about how to manage if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or anxious, or if you're in an anxiety-provoking situation and you can feel your anxiety rising, how best to, I guess, handle that sort of situation. So the following is really some recommendations. You may or may not find them helpful, just some ideas to get you going, and see how you go at putting them into practice for yourself. One of the most helpful things to do in order to prevent feeling overwhelmed and stressed and anxious and that sort of thing is usually to self-monitor. And this is something that I talked about in our Managing Stress vlog, part 1, a lot earlier this year. And basically what that is, what self-monitoring is checking in with yourself sporadically throughout the day to see where your levels of distress are. So if 10 is super stressed out and 0 is hardly, like, totally cool, calm and relaxed, if you were to ask yourself that question right now, where are my levels of stress in this moment, then that would give you a bit of an indication to see where things are. If you're sitting at about a 7 or an 8, maybe even a 9, that tells us that you're feeling pretty stressed out right now. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to engage in some kind of stress reduction technique that's helpful for you in order for that to come down a little bit. If you're at about a 5 or a 6, you'd still probably want to engage in something to help reduce that so that you can keep going. But if that's a 3 or a 4, even a 2 or lower, then that tells us that things are pretty cool right now, and so you can keep going with your day. The beauty of self-monitoring in that way is that it allows you to, I guess, stay on top of things, where you can check in with yourself and go, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is, I can either keep going or actually hold on, no, if I keep going, I'm going to be feeling really overwhelmed soon and I really need to do something and intervene and reduce this level of distress. So that's one technique, and for a more detailed explanation, please check out our Managing Stress vlog, part 1, and that gives much more of a detailed explanation about self-monitoring and managing stress in that way. The other thing that would be useful, especially if things are starting to climb, is a technique called diaphragm breathing. Now, I know I'm probably sounding very psychologist-like here by talking about breathing, but really, diaphragm breathing is super effective, especially at slowing down racing thoughts, because when we do become anxious, our breath becomes quite shallow. It becomes an upper chest breath, and we take in a lot more oxygen than we need. And that can really throw the balance out. What diaphragm breathing does is it encourages you to breathe lower, so lower in your body, and slower. Diaphragm breathing sends a neurochemical message straight back to the amygdala, which is a function or a structure in our brain which is responsible for controlling that fight-flight response. So it sends a direct neurochemical message back to the amygdala to say, slow down or calm down. And what that does then is it allows us to regain control over our thoughts and to regain control over what it is that's going on. So diaphragm breathing is breathing in and out through your nose if you can, and when you breathe in, you really want to see that diaphragm expanding, and by doing that, usually you would see your tummy expand, and when you breathe out, you want your tummy to flatten. So it's tummy out when you breathe in and tummy in when you breathe out. So tummy out, tummy in, breathing out. So if you just want to give that a bit of a go, breathing in, tummy going out, breathing out, tummy flattening again. So you really want to make sure that it's lower and slower in your body, not through your chest, but really through your diaphragm. So I'll just try and tilt the camera here a little bit. So you really want your tummy to breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So you want to just give that a go for a little bit, and you might notice already that your mind or your thoughts are starting to slow down. On average, we really breathe, if we're not feeling anxious, our breathing rate on average should be about 10 breaths in 1 minute. So a breath in and out counts as one breath. And if you time yourself for a minute and count your breaths and you're around about 10 breaths a minute, then that tells you that your breathing rate is average. If it's higher than that, then that tells you that it's an anxious breath in a sense, for lack of a better way of putting it. And what that then will do is let you know, actually, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or a little bit stressed here. Perhaps I'll try diaphragm breathing and really reduce that rate. I've had clients that have had breathing rates of 22 or 23 in a minute, and after only 1 minute of diaphragm breathing have reduced that all the way down to 11, sometimes even 6, and that's a massive drop. And then they report feeling a lot calmer, and their racing thoughts have stopped. So it's a really handy technique if we can get it right. The brilliant thing about it is obviously you can transport it with you. We're breathing all the time. We just have to make a conscious effort to make sure that we are diaphragm breathing. So as soon as you start to notice that your anxiety is rising, then this is something that you can absolutely employ, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. So with those two techniques in mind, self-monitoring and diaphragm breathing, I hope that it will allow you to gain a little bit more control over that feeling of being overwhelmed, anxious, or stressed. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening for our day 2 installment, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.